Hi everyone, welcome to another Pink Nest podcast. Today I'm having Valentina with me. She's a veteran event professional with over 15 years of experience, founder of the Pi Network, and this is exactly where we met, and the director of Beyond the Event. Whether she's building communities over a slice of pie or designing experiences with emotional depth, Valentina brings warmth, wisdom, and genuine love for helping people to thrive. So, Valentina, welcome to my podcast.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited for this conversation.
As with everybody, I'm going to start at the very beginning, childhood. So how was Valentina as a child, and where do you think that your passion for people, connection, or just events in general comes from?
So Valentina as a child was very much like what I am now, but a lot smaller. I've had the exact same hairstyle since I was about 3 years old. And I've always been this person that is or tries to be the center of attention, trying to, loves to party, loves hanging out. And I think that is where the kind of passion came from, because I just loved being with other people, like knocking on doors and asking friends, can we go out to play, and organizing birthday parties. And I think the one time that comes to mind when I think about how I got into events is at one time I decided to create a football team. Now, don't get too excited. It was about 5 of us. It was the smallest football team you could ever have. And we made T-shirts by writing on them in a Sharpie pen. And we played against other people in the neighborhood. And I guess just since then, everything I've done has been around just bringing people together for whatever reason. And here we are, however many years later, still doing it. So, yeah.
And I know that when you came to events, I mean, you did a lot of things in events industry in general, like ships. I remember your LinkedIn post about this one. Tell me a little bit about your journey towards the events industry or in events industry and what pulled you in.
Yeah, you're right. I've done a lot of things, and I'm so glad that I've been able to kind of like flip-flop between different avenues of events to figure out where it is I want to really be. And even at this point, I still am testing the waters, because we have the opportunity to, right? There's so many different facets of events. So why not try and put your fingers in a lot of pies, as I say? But I guess where I really started was I was organizing my, I guess you would want to say, it's not high school, it's not college, but it's in between, prom. And I just loved it. I loved speaking with the hotel and the vendors and creating experience. And that actual experience determined what I then decided to study at university, because actually I was going to go into IT. I really wanted to work at IBM. I don't know what I wanted to do at IBM, but that seemed to be at the time the company. And thinking back at that now, there's no way that I would have done that. But basically, I got my results from what would be A-levels in the UK, and I didn't get the result I wanted in IT. And in that moment, I was like, nope, I don't want to do it. It was just a complete switch of a decision. And I think the week before all the universities were about to like start their first semester, I emailed a university and said, can I come and do events management? And they were like, yeah, okay. And I guess that's where it all started. So I studied events management, and I'm so glad that I'm still in the industry of where I studied, because a lot of people aren't able to do that, or, at that age, you don't really know what you want to do. And I really knew. And the degree was called Organizing Live Arts, which is a very fancy name for events management. And yeah, I really, really got involved in that. And then, what was that, 2 years? 2 years? 3 years? It's hard to remember now. But Disney Cruise Lines came into the university to talk about their new ships, and they were looking for crew members. And at the time, I wasn't 21 because I'm an August baby. So I'm always the last one to turn the age of what, and everyone else is, drinking and driving. So I couldn't work for them because I wasn't 21 yet. But back then, jobs were advertised in newspapers, believe it or not. And somebody sent me a newspaper clipping from the Metro, which is a big London daily newspaper. There was another kind of recruitment agency recruiting for activity hosts on cruise ships, and I applied and I got the job. And within months, I flew to Amsterdam, my first flight by myself, and joined Celebrity Cruises as activity host. And over the course of about, I don't know, it's between 8 and 10 years, it's hard to say, but I was going from ship to ship all around the world, organizing the activities program for the guests. So we're talking karaoke, bingo, trivia, dance classes. We did theme, anything you could think of, we were organizing and also hosting. So that's what really propelled me into the industry. And still to this day, like, I always think about what that experience has taught me, the people I've met. I mean, I met my husband on a cruise ship. So when they say the love boat, it really is. And yeah, that's how I really got started in the industry. And I love going back on cruise ships. I think they're one of the best vacations, because they just have everything, and the entertainment is always amazing. So that's my long, short-winded answer to getting into the industry.
And now you have your own agency called Beyond the Event.
Yes.
What makes the agency different from traditional event agencies? You often talk about belongings before, during, and after an event. How does that look in practice, and how is Beyond the Event different?
Yeah. So aside to the experience I have in events, I also am a community builder. When the pandemic hit, I shifted into online community building, which is really where I learned about the importance of bringing people together, making people feel like they belong to something, because that's what makes people come back. And that can translate into events. People are coming from all over the world to, say, your annual conference, but if they don't feel like they connect with the people that are there, with the content that you're providing, the whole experience, they're not going to come back. They're not going to tell people about this particular event. And really, you want people coming back year after year, right? And hopefully you then create a community. So what I do within Beyond the Event is go beyond the event. It is all about how you make the experience of the core event not just 1 or 2 days. It's a continuous. It happens over the year. So how do you engage people before they actually turn up to the event? Then there's that whole core piece of, what happens at the event, and then what happens after. And with the community experience I've got and the event management experience, I'm able to help brands that are really looking to take their events to the next level and create experiences that really bring people together intentionally. So I bring my experience from both of those angles to really create what I call unforgettable experiences for the right reason.
And what do you think, on your opinion, is the difference between the event that runs well and the one that really stays with people? Would this be this unforgettable moment, or?
I think it's really about how you make people feel. That's not something you can quantify, but when people have gone to an event and they remember something that really kind of like made them feel quite emotional about something, and it could be somebody they met, it could be a takeaway from somebody's session, but it's something that just never leaves their mind, and they end up telling everybody about it. They're like, oh my God, I went to this conference last week and they had this person, they said this and it's really stuck with me. Or I met this person and they're like the twin of me. Like, it was so nice to be able to speak to them. And in order to achieve that, you really have to be intentional with the way you bring people together. So if you're doing networking, it's not just about having a space at this time and saying, okay, we're going to do networking and just leave people to it. That's not how it works. I mean, of course, there's people out there that will just walk up to people and start conversations, but that's not for everyone, and everyone has their own networking style I've worked out, and we have to make sure that we're thinking about each different person, which is why going through like the attendee journey as an event organizer is really important. rather than just having the checklist, which goes back to an event going well, is having this checklist, stakeholders are happy, it's brought in the right revenue if that's what the goal is, and it just being, you know, ticking the boxes. That's how an event runs well. And don't get me wrong, I love checklists. They're so important, and the whole logistical part of events makes the event happen, but the experience part is really how you think about strategically why you're doing this and how you want people to feel once they've left the event. Because if they don't feel anything, then it is forgettable. It's not unforgettable, you know. So that's how I differentiate.
Yeah, I agree with you totally. Now let's move to PI, which is People in Events Network,
Yes.
and that's actually where we also met. Otherwise,
It
we would have
is.
probably wouldn't. So tell me more. What's the background story? And just tell people a little bit more about your network that you
Yeah.
built.
So I, as I said, was building a lot of online communities during the pandemic. And then come 2020, what year are we in? 2025? 2024. I've lost the years already. Come 2024. Well, it's really happened in 2023, really, where I was like, you know what? Like, I love building communities, but as a day job, as a 9 to 5, I really just want to be focused now on events. And because I'd stepped away from that, and obviously the world shifted with the pandemic, I feel like we've started again almost. I didn't have the network of event people around me that I had with the community people that I had. And some of the community people do organize events, but they're not events organizers. That's just part of it. And I was like, you know what? I need to find my people because I need to be able to talk to them and help them and get advice. And as a community builder, the only way I figured to make that happen was to create my own community. Now, I know there are loads of communities out there around the world for event organizers, but I didn't just want to be part of somebody else's community. I wanted to create my own rules, start from the beginning, create the community with the people that were there rather than just being another person of someone else's. So I was laying in bed one day and I was like, people in events, PIE. And I was like, oh, pie. Because I'm a big food lover. And one of my earliest communities, which is based here in Madrid, where I live, is called Eat Out Madrid. And all we talk about is where the best places to eat and drink. So whenever food related things come to me, I really connect with them. So the word pie came up, and I like the idea of a network, because I believe that in 2025 and beyond, like who you know or who knows you is really key for opportunities, connections, collaborations. And if there's something that like I wish I'd done when I was starting out years ago was really leverage that. But at that time in 2009, social media and networking, like it was very different back then and compared to now. So yeah, that's how the Pi Network started. I reference Pi a lot, sometimes too much, but it's just a bit of fun. And we also reference Pi as in the mathematical equation, which is, it wasn't my idea. I'll give that to my husband, who suggested that as every new member joins the community, they get a unique number of Pi because Pi is infinite. And we hopefully will be a never-ending circle, like a pie, of members. And I just really wanted to make them feel like they were unique within the community by having their own decimal. And a lot of people do have the same numbers because in the pi equation, the numbers 1, 2, 3, etc. come up multiple times. So hopefully as we grow and get bigger, we'll have groups of 3s, groups of 2s, and they have this one thing in common that hopefully they can then find other things in common. So yeah, that's how it started. And I think I launched it in July of 2024 in London. So we're now about a year and a half old. And we have over 180 people in 18 countries, all really looking just to connect with more event professionals, share their experiences, and just learn from each other. And our motto is there's no problem too big that pie can't fix. And that is people in events, because we are known to fix things, and also pie. Most people like to eat pie, that warm, comforting feeling on a rainy day or any day really, sweet or savory. So yeah, that's our story.
What actually surprised you within the network? Because I know that you're hosting events in person, online. What has surprised you most about the way event professionals show up for each other when given the space?
So many things. But I guess, first of all, what surprised me most was the idea of the network was to bring anybody that was in events, whether you were a supplier, a freelancer, you're working in corporate events. We're getting a lot of people that are either in the freelance space or what I'm calling eventpreneurs, but people that may have been in full-time corporate roles at one point, but have decided they want to create their own product or service within the events industry. Those are the people that we're seeing joining moreover than others. And those are the people that seem to be getting the most involved. And I've worked out that the reason for that is day to day. I'm a freelancer. We're doing a lot of things. We're doing sales, marketing. We're actually doing the job. So we are always on looking for new opportunities and collaborations. And therefore, we're always looking to connect and help each other out, because a lot of the time we're by ourselves, we're teams of one, and we just want to talk with other people. So that's what surprised me. And it's been amazing, the support that people have been giving each other, when a lot of them have never met in person, but really just having somebody there to say, you know what, I love what you're doing, or thanks for the support, or like, this has happened to me, you should try this. Which is really the goal of a community, is when you can step back as the founder, and other people are just helping each other without you having to say, hey, has anyone got any recommendations for Valentina? That's what's been really surprising. And yeah, I'm just loving the journey. And I've got so many ideas and plans for 2026 that I want to announce, but I can't yet. But it's an exciting time. Every year you learn something new, and hopefully the network grows. And yeah, we have what we call Piple. I don't know if it's it's Piple. I say it's Piple, which is people with PIE, all around the world, just eating pie and helping each other, which sounds like a great plan to me.
Yeah, I think event profession is just in general so unique and different from everything else that it's really hard to find people who could connect with you actually on any level. So like you've said, just basically having somebody who's sharing the same or similar journey and probably has experienced whatever you're experiencing is already a big plus of the
Yeah.
network, I would say. What about, so we know now that, we both know because we've been in the events industry for so long, that it's actually a very challenging industry. It's not easy. And event professionals are holding a lot of pressure and emotional pressure and everything else around it. What do you think that an event professional or event professionals need the most right now?
There's so many things. But I think, based on just the conversations I've been having, I'm very active on LinkedIn. That's my kind of go-to place, is that it's a hard market right now for jobs, for opportunities. People are being made redundant, or people are deciding to switch into the freelance world. And there's a lot of opportunities out there. However, people right now, event professionals right now, really need clarity, specifically clarity on what's in it for them. And this comes down to salary or pay transparency, which I'm a huge advocate for. I'm an ambassador for We Show the Salary, which is a campaign in the UK to try and get as many people to pledge that they will put the salary on every single job posting. But yeah, I feel like that's one of the top things on people's lists right now as we go into the new year, and event professionals are looking for work, for new clients, for collaborations. And a lot of what's being shared is what is expected of these people, but it's not being shown what's in it for them. Some job ads I'm seeing literally have no salary, no benefits, nothing. And we all know that applying for jobs is a full-time job, especially when there's so many people looking for work. So deciding which jobs to apply for is kind of like a toss-up, because you have to cater your CV, write a cover letter, potentially send a portfolio for a job that you don't know what is in it for you. And if it gets to the interview stage where they bring up the salary and you realize it's much lower than what you can really afford, it feels like a waste of time. And if they don't bring it up, it's that whole awkward conversation around salary that nobody wants to have. And the last thing any event professional wants is for the hiring partner or company or whoever to think that they're only in it for the money. But the reason why we do this is to get paid. Like, it's a really difficult situation. So clarity all around and transparency on, like, this is what we need to do. These are the skills. This is what you're going to get in return. And then we all sit there and be like, okay, yes, that aligns. I'm going to really put my best into this application, because I'm seeing, especially on LinkedIn, with jobs that are posted on there, you see how many people have clicked apply, whatever, hundreds. You can't believe, I don't believe that every single application is being read by these companies.
It's definitely not.
So
I can
like,
tell you it's not. Yeah.
why are we making that situation worse by not being transparent from the beginning, so that you get the right people that have the right experience, that have either decided that the salary or the benefits they align, and there's no awkward conversation. So yeah, I could talk about this for days.
And
Because
what
really
do you think is
important.
your opinion? What's the background story for it? Because I've seen this. I'm seeing this kind of ads. Like, I would even say that there is more ads like this out there than actually the ones that are transparent.
I mean, I've definitely seen it get better in different parts of the world. Like, for example, the US, they seem to be really jumping on
Yeah.
this bandwagon. The EU, unfortunately, is not there yet. However, there is a new directive that's going into force in 2026 where companies will, like, have to be more transparent around it. The UK, I'm seeing more than I thought, but there's still a lot that aren't, and from reputable companies that I just feel that in 2025, like, we're not in the early 2000s anymore, where we hide things. So, and I don't know. I've yet to have someone explain to me an argument around not sharing this information, because the pay or the range is always decided before a job comes out. I wonder if the reason why they're not sharing it. But actually, I don't wonder. I think I've decided. I know the reason why they're not sharing it is if a salary is shared or pay details are shared, people are proud of that. That's why they want to share it. They're like, look, we want to pay this person because they know it's a good amount. If it's not there, they're not proud of it, or they're worried because maybe they've got other people working in the company that aren't being paid as much. And that's a whole separate discussion to have about internally. But I just don't understand why we're doing this secrecy, because it encourages pay gaps. It encourages it. Like, what else are you hiding?
Yeah. Probably other things as well, I would say.
Probably, but like, why?
Yeah.
Like, don't already fall at the first hurdle at a job ad. Like, it's really not that difficult. So yeah, it's tough. I get it, because companies have been around for a while and a lot of people don't have the power to make change. But if no one is advocating for that change, then we're not going to move forward. then I certainly am not going to work for free or for less than what I feel like I'm worth. And that means I'm not going to apply to jobs. That means I'm going to say no to when the salary is too low. But unfortunately, not everybody's in that position. And when you get to a point where you're desperate, it's very challenging because you end up saying yes to almost anything. And sometimes that works out and sometimes it doesn't. And I don't think this is going to change completely for a number of years, but
Yeah, but you have to
championing.
start somewhere.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And so by championing, oh my God, I can't even say it, championing, woo, those that are doing it really well is really important. And also calling out those that aren't to ask why they're not doing it is also important. And that's why in the Pi Network, we always encourage those who have seen job opportunities that they might want to apply for, but they need more clarity, transparency, to reach out to us and say, hey, can you ask about this? Because again, if there's this, I don't know if it's a misconception or if it's reality, that if you ask about pay before you've applied, that you get put to the end of the pile or you get disregarded completely, which shouldn't be the case, right? The same as, asking about a range and then companies putting you on the scale of where they think you are, and they don't even know who you are on your experience. So, yeah, if anybody sees any event jobs that they want to apply for, but they need more information, send it through to the Pi Network on LinkedIn, and we will do our best to get something. And we've been successful in quite a lot of job postings who have added it to their job descriptions. There's been a lot that haven't, but we have to advocate for change, and it's going to take a while, but we're not going to stop. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on this one. I think it's a really important mission, and fingers crossed something changes, something deeply drastically changes.
Yeah.
So we're not seeing these kind of ads anymore. All right, we are coming to the end of the recording, and I have one last question for you.
Okay.
So after all these years, what is one truth about a community or belonging that guides you all the way and the way that you work and lead today? One simple thing.
Consistency. Now,
All
I'm
right.
not 100% consistent every day. However, I try in everything that I do to be consistent in what I do, whether that is hosting events, whether that is speaking my truth in the things that I share on LinkedIn, and trying to be 1% better every day. Because trying to have massive goals and milestones that just are unrealistic to hit can make you feel like you're not good at what you do, you're worthless, that whole imposter syndrome starts to come out. But just being consistent and showing up in the different spaces that you want to be in, I think is key, because over time, it will then come back to you. It's like when people say, like, go into the gym. It's different for everybody. Some people will go there a whole year before they see change. Sometimes it'll be 6 months, but you go X amount of times a week. You do the same exercises, or, you dedicate time, and eventually it will happen. It's frustrating because you want it to happen straight away, but it doesn't always work like that. So yeah, consistency is big for me, and I try in every aspect of my life to be consistent, because it should be something like this, I would say, in life, like a wave rather than or trying to go like this, because then you fall down. And so yeah, just like a nice wave, because waves are usually really calm, and they have ups and downs, but not too high, not too low.
Thank you. I love that. Consistency is really the key.
Yes.
I try to follow it as well. These big goals for me don't usually work well. So, yeah. Valentina, thank you so much for taking the time and being my guest. I loved our conversation, and yeah, thank you.
No, thank you. It was great to chat.